Hello on the Daily Family. Welcome to this episode. In this episode, I am going to be talking about the difference between saying that you don't give a fuck about what people think of you and then truly just not giving a fuck about people, because there is a difference. And I think a lot of people get this confused. I've seen this with people. I've seen this with people close to me. I've seen this with clients. I've seen this with people I follow on the internet. There is a difference. And I think that difference is what will eventually set you free when it comes to making decisions for yourself, choosing to do things for you, choosing to, pursue your dreams, because there is a balance. And if this is something that you feel like you struggle with, or you know someone who struggles with it, then this is going to be your episode. So keep on listening.
Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype You Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here.
This month, I am planning out an entire quarter's worth of content, an entire quarter's worth of podcasts, an entire quarter's worth of assets, and all the things. So we have our entire quarter already planned out, and Black Friday and holiday and all the things. There's a masterclass coming out this month. There's so many different things coming out this month, and I want you a part of it. So if you're not currently on my email list or in my free community, I hosted a free training inside of my main character CEO community yesterday. It's a free community. I hosted a training in there all about the death of pain point marketing, why pain point marketing is dead, why it sucks, why you need to stop doing it ASAP. And that training was so good, and it's totally free. And if you're not in that community or you're not on my email list, now is the time to get on it, because as we roll into Q4, there's going to be so many fun things that I'm going to be offering and dropping. And if you've been wanting to work with me for a while and one of your only hesitations has been like the price, I totally get that. And we're about to take care of all of that for you. So click the link in our show notes. It's going to connect you to my email list, and it'll add you to my free community. And from there, you will get all of the goods. There is a difference between not giving a fuck about what people think of you and then not giving a fuck about people. There is a difference. And I notice a lot of people who get this very, very, very confused. So not giving a fuck about what people think of you is prioritizing the things in your life that matter most. So prioritizing your life context. For me, my life context, my priorities are freedom and peace for me and my family. My family being Breezy and Owen. Now, that also includes my mom and all these other people, but in a very direct way, freedom and peace for Breezy and Owen and myself. That's it. And so I make choices in my business. I make choices in my life. I make choices about who I surround myself with that are bringing me closer to those priorities. And I don't give a fuck about what people think about that. So if I quit a job because it doesn't line up with that priority, so be it. If I say no to doing something because it doesn't line up with that priority, so be it. And I don't really care what people think of that choice. I don't care what people think about what I do for a living, because what I do for a living allows me to be home with my family, and it allows us the freedom to do what we want and go where we want and be who we want and say what we want without worrying about money, without worrying about other people's schedules, without worrying about anything else. And so that is why that is a goal for me, right? That is not giving a fuck about what people think of you. I see this though in a toxic way, and I honestly think it comes from a place of scarcity and fear. And if you're coming at I do what I want, Like, I don't care what people think of me. If that's coming from a place of scarcity and fear, and it's actually coming from a place of like, I'm actually terrified of making the wrong choice. So I'm going to, what happens is you get this like avoidance mentality. You get this avoidance style where you don't connect to the emotions of the people around you. You actually stop listening. Like you may hear like, or you stop hearing people. Like you may listen to them. You may like, somebody may share with you something that they need from you or something that is scaring them and they need support on. You may listen, but if you're not hearing them and really taking it on, and then you're doing something completely different to benefit yourself because you need to focus on you and you need to worry about what you want, that's where you tip into, you just don't give a fuck about people. And that is narcissistic behavior, right? And I listen, as you grow and as you shift and as you change, you will leave people behind. That's just part of it because not everybody is going to grow and evolve at the same pace. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ability to make decisions for you and your priorities without breaking promises or letting people down that are part of those priorities, right? So when this is when it's in a shadow and it's not operating at its highest frequency, it'll look like, well, in the past, so-and-so did this to me. And so in this situation, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z because that's what I need to do to build my life. Well, you're now directly impacting the very things that maybe you've prioritized. And I used to be like this. So that's why I speak to this so carefully. Because I used to be like this, where I would say like, you know what, family, like we are going to sacrifice right now and we're going to work through it. And we're all just going to give Danielle grace because Danielle's building a business. And she's building a life and that life is going to support us. But the whole time, like I didn't know where my son was. Like I wasn't spending time with my family. I wasn't being a present partner. I wasn't being a present mom. I was literally just staying on this hustle and grind. And really what it came down to was a place of fear. I was deathly afraid of the other shoe falling. I was deathly afraid of not getting any more job opportunities if I didn't say yes to everything. So then I start saying yes to everything that goes outside of the boundary that I set for myself, which is keeping my priorities the focal point. And so then it just comes off as that you don't care about people. And that's not how you want to be. And so my advice is, if this is you and you find yourself like getting this like angsty energy about like, I just do what I want. And if you don't like it, too bad. But in the meantime, in the process of that energy, you are letting down the very people or things or circumstances or situations that you claim to prioritize, then that is a problem. And I would get really clear. So anything that I'm offered, any opportunity that comes my way, what I say to myself first is, does this prioritize more peace and freedom for me and my family? And if the answer is no, I said, could it in the future? I asked myself, could this prioritize freedom and peace for my family in the future? And if the answer is maybe, that's still not a yes. And then I asked myself, does making this decision right now cause more or less peace in my body? And if the answer isn't more, then it's a no. If it's not going to bring freedom and peace to my family, and I can't answer that with a full body yes, then it's a no. And that's when decision making becomes very easy. And it's like, then you don't have to worry about letting people down because in the moment you're very clear in your decisions and you're not trying to play this like wishy-washy game of like overcommitting and like overpromising and under-delivering and then trying to like backpedal and make it right by like falling into all of these little weird tendencies of trying to like do the most in other areas when actually like the thing that you did first was just not honor the priorities that you claim to have. And it's like, if you just start doing that, then you don't feel the need to like overcompensate in other areas of your life. So ask yourself questions. First figure out what your priorities are. Are they people? Are they a lifestyle? Is it a situation? Is it a circumstance? What's the priority? Figure that out. After you figure out the priority, then everything that comes your way, everything the universe, God, source, whoever sends you, you ask yourself, does this get me closer or farther away from honoring my priorities? If the answer is not closer, it's a no. Will this opportunity cause more or less peace in my body? If the answer is not more, then the answer is no. And just start to stick to that. And I promise you, like, money will come in at a better pace because, like, here's the thing, like, dirty money is a thing. If you're calling in money from a place of scarcity, you're always going to be in scarcity because money's just an energy and it's going to come in at the frequency that you're operating at. And so if you're operating at a low frequency where you're playing comparison and you're overcompensating and you're doing the most and you're saying yes to everything and it's coming from a place of fear and scarcity, then you're always going to be in a place of fear and scarcity with money. And that's when you start to make decisions that show that, like, you don't care about people. It's not that you don't care about people think of you. At that point, you don't care about people. And that's probably not true. So get out of that, like, scarcity space by getting very clear on what your priorities are and having a boundary that you will never, ever, ever break that. Unless your priorities change, and then that's one thing. But if that's your priority, honor the promises that you make to yourself. It's going to feel so much better. It's going to feel so much more peaceful in your body, and it's not going to feel like shit all the time. You're not going to feel like shit in every decision you make. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Happy October. Happy Q4. I'm going to have an episode coming out this Friday, kind of getting you into the mindset of quarter four. So if you haven't, like, mapped out your Q4 yet, I'm going to talk about some things to consider as you plan out your Q4 so that you don't find yourself, like, working underneath the dinner table on Christmas Eve, because that sucks. All right, my friends. As always, if you give me a review for this podcast, if you go to Apple Podcasts and you give me a 5-star rating, write me a review, screenshot that, send it to hey@daniellemccleary.com. We will give you a discount on any of my signature programs, any of my masterminds, basically anything that I offer. We'll give you a little discount as a thank you for helping us grow this podcast. And as always, share this with somebody that you think it would benefit. I so enjoy hanging out with you every week, and I will see you back on Friday. Love you.